A demo. A demo.
Live happening now. I don't see the was live 3 days ago.
It hasn't popped up. Come on, Bucketface.
Are we up on Facebook?
Yeah, we should be live on Facebook. You see it?
Don't. It's just the scheduled.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Green.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is Monday morning, and we are live from the social in East Asheville. What a weekend it was. Very busy weekend. Eventful weekend, wasn't it, Jeremy?
It was that.
Jeremy's personal life is always entertaining. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into what happened in the sports world this weekend. We've got a big mess going on in the Big Ten, as the Big Ten's biggest player has now started a petition to get the Big Ten to change its mind about the college football season. Will that happen? Will it not happen? We'll discuss it here in the program. Plus, we've got the NBA playoffs kicking off today with 4 games starting off at 1:30 this afternoon. We will have lunchtime to midnight snack basketball, and this time it really counts.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch my 2019-2020 NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
1:30 is the tip-off time today on ESPN as the Nuggets take on the Jazz. We got the Raptors and the Nets after that, then the 76ers and the Celtics, and the Clippers and the Mavericks. Over the weekend, we had Stipe Miocic getting a dominating win in the UFC to retain the heavyweight title. Sean O'Malley, unfortunately, gets injured in the first round in his fight against Chito Vera. And
I didn't like it.
Mr.
I don't want to see it again. Don't make me watch it again.
Mr. Rainbow Hair had all of that wind in his sails in his young UFC career pulled out from under him. Also, over the weekend, let's say congratulations to Chase Elliott. Is there anybody who can race better on road courses than young Chase Elliott? He's got.
I didn't watch not 1 second. Of that.
Really?
No.
Not a single second. Wow.
Nope.
You were sleeping. That's
You're damn
why.
right I was. Jeremy did a massive sleepy time over the weekend, and it was phenomenal.
So all of that we will discuss here in the program. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us here on Facebook and YouTube Live. We're trying the dual stream today, so hopefully everybody's being able to find that. Don't forget to follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. Be sure to like it, share it, follow it. Tell all of your friends what you do right here every morning, or weekday morning at 9 a.m. with us in The Sportsocracy. And don't forget to check out the merch store where you can get your campaign T-shirts now. Look, Election Day is coming up, and we're going to need all the write-in votes.
I just want one vote. Hey, look, I know you don't want to vote for Trump. You don't want to vote for Biden. Vote for me and him.
Right. I'll write in. I'll do that.
I was going to write in Yosemite Sam, and I think you're a little better than that.
Yeah.
How much?
Thank you.
But I want to say a big shout out to our production guys.
Yes.
Because everything that happens in that room back there might as well be in a different language for me, because it just gets more confusing, and holy shit, there's a lot of buttons. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of buttons.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they do.
So thanks, yes, to Classic Clay and to Caleb as well for hooking us up and keeping us running and keeping you entertained right here. Well, you know, it's a team effort. There is
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. There is no I in team. And
There is
so,
a me, though.
There is a me. There is a me. Justin Fields, let's talk about him. Ohio State quarterback, one of the guys who's in the hunt for the Heisman Trophy, or would be if there were going to be such a thing in 2020. Because the Big Ten, of course, canceling off their football season. And over the weekend, Justin Fields, he penned a petition to get the Big Ten to try to switch over their decision from not having a season or pushing it to the spring to actually holding it in the fall, like the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 12 seem hell-bent on doing. This petition has apparently gotten about 200,000 signatures, I believe.
It was 219 as of 8 o'clock this morning.
Good Lord. 219,000 signatures have on this thing, and a whole bunch of those signatures belong to Big Ten athletes. They want to play, and look, I don't think this is going to matter.
Well, here's the thing. People think petitions matter way more than they do. I mean, everybody has a petition for something. But very rarely do you have a petition that is started by the most important person in your association. Justin Fields is the most talented player in the Big Ten. He's the most notariable
Notariable?
Is that what I said?
Yeah,
I was reading and
not a word.
he's the most recognizable.
Noteworthy? There you go.
I think I combined those two words. Player in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And so he has started this. And I'm not going to say I don't think it leads to anything in terms of the Big Ten changing their mind. However, it's a really bad look.
Yes.
And it's going to be what we talk about today across two shows. You're going to hear it across every platform, whether it's ESPN, Fox, whatever. This is going to be what we're talking about.
Yep.
And what it really does is it makes the casual sports fan that doesn't know the inner workings of this go, what the hell is happening in the Big Ten? Because the players feeling like this would get them somewhere tells you that the leadership in the Big Ten's a joke.
Yeah.
If you didn't already know that, this is confirmation of it.
Well, look, the Big Ten and the ACC and all of these conferences, when they're making their decisions on this, they talk to all of the, the medical committees and all of that, and talk to the school presidents and the ADs and the head coaches. But the one entity that did not get a seat at the table was the players. And I get it. They're not professional athletes. They're kids, as some people would like to refer to them to. I like to refer to them as young adults who can make their own damn decisions. But I feel like they should have had a seat at the table.
Did you just say young adults that can make their own decisions?
Yes.
How very Republican of you. I'm telling you, I'm going to win him back one way or the other.
No, I feel like the students, the kids, they needed... I shouldn't call them kids. I'm sorry if we're going to go with adults. The young adults needed a seat at the table. These are people that can make their own decisions. They are 18 years or older, most of them. There might be a couple of 17-year-old true freshmen or something. But for the most part, these are legal adults who can make their own decisions. And I feel like they should have been consulted throughout this whole thing. What do you feel comfortable with? Because if we're to believe Justin Fields from Ohio State, when he penned this, and in the comments that have been made afterwards, I don't know if it was him or some other player that said, we haven't been asked about this, and I have not heard from one of my teammates or any of the other players that I've talked to who said we don't feel safe with this, or that the risk is too great not to play. To me, you have to believe in your players.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. All right, so the argument was we have to do what's right for the health and wellness of our players because they could sue us. Mm-hmm. This was, I mean, we talked about this ad nauseum. This was a legal indemnification. So basically what Justin Fields just did is he gave the Big Ten a pass of these guys have all signed the petition. You start this up, you have football, and if they want to play, they play. Mm-hmm. I think now I don't think there's any way that a player could come out and say, they forced me to play. But if Kevin Warren unwinds this decision, he might as well step down the minute he does it.
Yes.
That's the problem. Now you have litigated yourself into a corner. And I understand he's a lawyer and all these things. This was the problem with making this decision when he did, is now you painted yourself in a corner. Because if you in any way unwind, which I'm not saying that I think he's going to do, but if you did it, your next step is to step down.
Right.
Because you have shown that you have no control over what's happening.
I don't see a path where he keeps his job.
I
really don't. Because between this petition that's come out, between the letter that came out on Thursday of last week, I believe it was, the Iowa football parents who sent the letter saying, our boys want to play, they're willing to take the risk, they were never consulted, why did you decide to unilaterally do this and shut it down and impact their futures in this way? I believe that the cry for his head, figuratively speaking, is going to be so large that the Big Ten can no longer sit back and go, yeah, and give him the vote of confidence.
The guy that really had no qualifications for this job in the first place.
Yeah.
That guy.
There's no way that they can continue to do that, I don't think. I think this might be one of the shortest stints of any big Power 5 commissioner in history.
Well, I mean, and Stephen Tao just had a really good point in the comments, and this is a lot of what Justin Fields said in the petition that he started, was if this had happened last year, Joe Burrow probably doesn't even get drafted.
Yep.
If he does, it's very late. Instead, he's the number one pick. And, I've said for years that the NCAA model is broken. It was just going to take something very aggressive to make them change that. Well, found it. This is the thing. Because now you're going up against something that you weren't built for. You weren't made for this. And now you have to explain to these players that, you're looking out for their best interest. And all of these coaches sat in these kids' living rooms and said, I'm going to look out for the best interest of your kid. And then your commissioner came in and unilaterally said, I know better for your kid than he knows for himself. And I can tell you as both a parent and as, somebody that was an 18-year-old kid at one point, that would not have sat well with me.
No.
Of that you're going to tell me you're telling me you can make decisions for me better than I can make them for myself.
Right.
And I'm telling you the mass exodus in the Big Ten's coming. When this basically just gets thrown out the window, which it's going to, in my opinion. I don't see this petition could have 10 million signatures. And I don't think there's anything Kevin Warren can do. Even if he wants to. There's no way you can walk this back.
No.
Because it completely undermines every little minuscule bit of authority you thought you had.
Right, and think about it this way. This is not Kevin Warren. This is if they were to reverse this decision, say you did get 10 million people to sign on to this thing, and you felt like the public pressure was so great that you wanted to revisit it. This is not Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren didn't make this decision unilaterally. This was voted on by the school presidents in the Big Ten. And do you think those, academicians, as I have used in the past, do you think that they're really going to look at this and go, yeah, these people are right. We need to change course. We need to have a football season. I don't think so. Unless some of the big booster donors come out and say, we're going to start pulling money from all your schools.
That's who I've said has to come out.
That's the way
the
it
Phil
changes.
Knights, the family of T. Boone Pickens, the people like that. That's who has to show up and say, all right, we're pulling our dollars.
Yep.
If you don't have a season, we're pulling our dollars. Those are the only people that have enough influence. Because, I mean, let's face it. Justin Fields has a great platform for 1 year. Because we know where he's headed. Doesn't matter what happens. And I haven't said this yet, but I really do want to say this. Stephen, again, said this in the comments. Credit to Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. That's two of maybe 15 guys in the country that don't need this season to happen, and they're the ones at the forefront.
Yep.
Why? It's not for them. There's nothing can happen this year that directly helps them. The only thing that can happen hurts them. If the two of them sit at home in mothballs, they're 1 and 2 in the draft next year. Period.
Yep.
They're looking out for the guys that they've gone to battle with. Their family in the locker room. They're looking out for the right tackle that just got the starting job, and he's a senior, and this is his last year, and he's not coming back for another year, and he needs a good year of tape to further his draft ability. That's who these guys are looking out for. And I'll be honest with you, I've scouted every draft since 2006. I would be falling more and more in love with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields as time goes on.
Absolutely.
Everything they do makes me look at them as a future stalwart of a franchise more and more.
The leadership that these guys are showing in a time of crisis, which is exactly what this is in college football, is amazing. The leadership that these guys are showing as members of a team with one goal and putting themselves on the back burner for their team. That's exactly what they're doing. Because think about it this way: Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields have nothing to lose.
No.
If they sit out. They have everything to lose if they play.
And I want you to think about this. All right, so for the last few years, we've had this growing trend of the high-end guys sit out bowl games. This would be just like that. And guys like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are saying, no, we don't want to do that. We want to play. We want our guys on the field. And, I mean, for me, if I'm an NFL GM, we talked about this a while back of, let's say a team with a quarterback wound up with a number 1 pick. What is Trevor Lawrence worth? It's 5-1s. That's what he's worth.
Yep.
And I know that sounds like a ton. It's the truth. That's what he's worth. And the more he talks, the more his stock goes up.
And if a team ends up in that spot that already has a quarterback, he's almost the guy that you might consider taking and doing something else with that other quarterback.
Yeah.
Depending on who your team is. I can't pinpoint a team that would wind up in that situation. Who do you think could wind up in that situation? The Bengals? They wouldn't do that. Obviously, just drafting Joe Burrow last year.
Who could wind up in that situation?
Right. Who could end up that already has a quarterback in that number 1 slot? It's not Jacksonville. It's not Carolina. It's not Washington. Well, yeah, Washington's a good one. But I think they'll be better than that.
Washington would take Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Miami.
Miami's
the one call.
They would never. I don't think they're going to be that bad, though.
I don't think they're good. Steven,
You don't think they're good at all?
Why did you have to say the Jets? I was in such a good mood. I was doing so well this morning, and you had to throw that out there.
Absolutely. Good job, Steven.
Hey,
Yes,
on the
Jets
bright
is
side,
right
the
answer.
Jets just popped up live on my little screen right here, and it was Darnold to Brashad Perriman for a perfect 50-yard touchdown. So
In practice.
it was also a very blown coverage. So from the guy that replaced Jamal Adams.
Right.
So
I
we're
want
off to a good start.
Yeah, tamp your expectations down on that report that came out of camp this week that
Sam
Sam
was
Darnold
shredding
is
the defense?
shredding the defense.
Well, and that's what's going to
Okay.
happen. That's going to happen. I know we're going down a rabbit hole here,
That's
but
fine.
that's going to happen. The offense is going to be ahead of the defense. There are more adjustments that have to be made on the fly with the defense than have to be made with the offense. Fantasy football, holy God, you fantasy football people are going to have a hell of a time the first few weeks of this season. Because offenses are going to put up numbers.
yeah.
Because you got to think, this little time being on the field and being live, the defenses are going to be behind. They're going to be behind for a while. That was a total rabbit hole, but
That's
boing,
fine.
boing, boing.
I like what Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are putting out there because they are realizing their worth. If they prove that they are, great leaders of men in college, it is only going to help their stock when it comes to the NFL.
Oh, 100%. Now, here's my question to you. Do you think there is any way that this can actually affect anything?
No.
I disagree.
What do you think it affects?
So here's how I think this could happen, because I completely disagree with Devin. Devin said boosters unilaterally pulling their money. You'd have to go somewhere else. That's not how this works. So boosters, the big boosters, the ones that matter. Maryland has one. The guy from Under Armour, Phil Knight from Nike, T. Boone Pickens' family at Oklahoma State. There are big boosters that we all know they're not going anywhere. However, the stadium at Oklahoma State, you know what it's called? T. Boone Pickens Field. You know why? Because he donated $700 million. That somebody like that comes along and says, and I understand that he's passed away, it would be his family. I get that. If somebody like that comes along and starts backing this, I don't think Phil Knight would do it. I don't think I never can remember the Under Armour guy's name. I don't think they're going to do it. Now, could one of these unilateral, the family of T. Boone Pickens is the one that I can't get away from. If Oklahoma State came out and said, no, we're done.
Yeah.
We're not. If you don't play, we're not giving another dollar. Oklahoma State would go. We're out. We're not on. Nope. We're going with the guy cutting checks. That's how I think this could actually affect some kind of change. Is if you got the boosters to jump in and really start harassing the Kevin Warrens and Larry Scotts, and I don't think there's anything you can do to Larry Scott.
Go ahead.
I don't think there's anything you can do to Larry Scott. He's entrenched in the Pac-12, and they do whatever they do out there. They have surfboards and wear shorts with blazers, and
Right.
they just do their own thing.
Right.
The Big 12's different, or the Big 10, excuse me, is different. God bless, name that conference something else. It's different. There are too many football factories in that conference for me to just unilaterally say they're not even going to listen to you. If you do it right, I think they will. Not saying it'll change the decision, but could I see a path where the boosters get involved and the players are involved and the coaches are involved And now you've got the most powerful guys in these programs looking at somebody like Kevin Warren, who's on unsteady ground anyway. And they go, well, if you can't find a way to make it happen, we'll find a commissioner that will.
I get a great chuckle out of the way this whole thing has been covered by the national media. And by the national media, I'll say ESPN mainly. Because there was an article over the weekend that stated that they couldn't believe that recruiters from the ACC, from the Big 12, and from the SEC were going around to recruits saying, see, we care more about football than they do. Why the hell would they not?
Was that so literally the canceling of the Big Ten or the postponement of the Big Ten season and the Pac-12 happened during our show on ESPN. What is the first thing that I said?
Is that exactly what they should do?
That is exactly what's going to happen.
Yep.
Recruiting is a meat market. If you thought that we were going to play nice because of the coronavirus, you're out of your mind. Hell no. The Mac Browns and Mike Norvells of the world literally just looked at that and went, well, that just opened up a whole new play to recruit.
Exactly. But to me, the thing is that why did you not expect that they would do this? Because that's exactly the signal that you're sending.
Because we
that
have
you don't
to be
care more
fair.
about football. Exactly, but it's the national media obviously wants this to be a greater thing than it actually is. They want people to be more scared than they are. And the fact that the Big 12 and the SEC and the ACC are not cowering in fear and canceling everything, they see that as, oh, that's irresponsible for those people. They'd see the Big 10 and the Pac-12, they made their decision to protect the students. Bullshit. Mark Schlereth had a great video this morning that I saw on social media. He was talking about how the Big 10 and the Pac-12's decision doesn't mean a damn thing for player safety. Because he's got a neighbor that is going to Northwestern. He's going to be a freshman there. He's getting ready to move on to campus in 2 weeks. Don't tell me that player safety is at the top of your list. Bullshit. Because you got students going to campus, and now you're telling the football players that they can't be in their little bubbles, getting tested routinely, and being more protected than anybody else that's going to be on
100%.
campus. You cannot make that argument and then come out and say, but we're going to play 2 full seasons in 1 calendar year. That's not safe.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's
every
stupid.
person in the medical society will tell you that is a dumb idea.
The spring football thing is astronomically stupid, and the fact that higher ups in our industry can't figure that out just blows my mind.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of the people that are beating the drum for spring football. I mean, for the love of God, you are showing your ignorance at every pass.
The big change happened today. ESPN National Radio, the new lineup just started this morning, and you got Keyshawn Johnson and Zuba Mahenti and Jay Williams on the morning show now in place of Golick and Wingo. And Keyshawn Johnson this morning went on this big long thing about it just makes more sense to shut it all down, and we don't need to play until September, and even if you can push it off till March, maybe that'll be the safest thing. Like, dude, you played football. Do you not understand how have you forgotten what the football season does to a young man's body? You go 8 games, full season, a truncated season in the spring, and then you're going to ask him to play another 10 games if you're using the Big Ten model that Jeff Brom came up with, the 18 games in 1 calendar year.
You're out of your mind.
You're crazy.
You're out of your mind.
You're putting
and
these
I understand
guys at risk.
before anybody says it, I understand that's how long the NFL season is. There's a reason we don't let guys jump right from high school to the NFL.
Yep.
Because your body is not, it's a progression. So you have X amount of games in high school, then you move on to college and you have X amount of games in college with practices. It's not just the number of games that you play. It's how many live practices that you've got, how many padded practices you've got, how many times are you getting hit in a calendar year. And here's the thing that nobody seems to want to say. Just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's merited. And we've gotten to a point in this society where we just throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. And there are so many people that do what we do that are horribly irresponsible in that you just throw shit out there and go, hey, this might work. Let's do that. Oh, well, how would it work? Oh, I have no idea. I don't know how it would work. We'll just figure it out. But that's what we've done. We've just kicked the can down the road. And, we'll figure it out in a month. We'll figure it out in a week. We'll figure it out in 3 weeks, whatever. And now you're to a point of 3 weeks before the season's supposed to start, we don't even know who's going to play.
We do know who's going to play.
We're not sure who's going to play.
We got the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 12.
They're going to try to play. But does public pressure and what if somebody gets the coronavirus? I mean, God forbid they have 101 fever and have the sniffles. I mean, Jesus Christ, how does somebody survive that? I mean, for the love of God, I never thought I would see a virus that's literally so deadly that you have to be tested to know you have it.
Come hell or high water, the ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC will have a season.
I believe you're right. I really do. You know, I've been asked a bajillion times, are we going to have college football or are we going to have the NFL? The NFL, I can tell you definitively, full steam ahead. Here we go. Wrote a song about it, like to hear it, here it goes.
Nothing is changing in the NFL.
No.
And the fear of the virus is just going to have to be something that people are going to have to get over. The main public may feel like this is not a good idea at this time. Well, that's fine. You can feel that way. But the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC, they love us.
Look,
they love college football fans, and they're going to give it to us if at all possible. Barring deaths spiking in many of these states where these teams exist to 2,000 people a day, I don't see the ACC and the Big 10 and the Big 12 and the SEC flipping the script on this. Just like I don't think that this petition, as great of a gesture as it is going to flip the script for the Big 10 and the Pac-12.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of things that people do that I think are a bad idea. Wearing socks with sandals is a bad idea.
Or Crocs, Corey.
Don't wear Crocs. Friends don't let friends wear Crocs. I mean, there are a ton of things in this life that are a bad idea.
Yep.
This is not a bad idea. You know, and nobody can. The more we've gone on and on and on about this, people have asked, why do we talk about this so much? Because we're the only ones that are on this side of the fence.
Exactly.
I mean, it seems like every sports media person, it's irresponsible. Why? Why is it irresponsible? We got myocarditis. Okay, let's go down. I mean, we can go down that path again if you want to.
No, let's
For
not
the love of
go down
God,
that
just
path.
stop talking about things that you don't know what you're talking
Right.
about. I mean, it's the level of groupthink and herd mentality is just astronomical to me.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in to the program. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Green. This is the Sportsocracy, at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Like it, share it, follow it, and don't forget to check out the merch store as well. We still have the promo code NBA Bubble that you can use through the end of this month to get 10% off of your purchases. Again, all purchases as well. A portion of those proceeds will be going to a local youth sports organization here in our area. Now, Jeremy, over the weekend we had UFC 252. Stipe Miocic destroyed Daniel Cormier in the third fight, the rubber match between these two. 2 in a row, Stipe has now won. He has successfully defended his title. He has now won 6 championship bouts at the heavyweight level in the UFC. That ties him with Randy Couture for number 1 all-time in the number of successful appearances in a title fight at the heavyweight level. Is he the greatest heavyweight of all time to you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And now here's the bad thing for Stipe. All right, you just retired Daniel Cormier. Where do you go now? I mean, it's Francis Ngannou. I know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when you dispatch of him, you got Derek Lewis.
Rosenstruck, who just beat Junior DeSantos. He probably becomes the number 3 contender.
Yeah.
Doesn't send you?
I mean, they're all 3 good. Does it change anything about how I feel about? Here's the thing. You want to cement yourself as the greatest John Jones. That's the answer. You find a way to make the John Jones fight happen.
Is that logical?
Yeah.
Can John Jones, because John Jones was the light heavyweight title?
It's 205.
Ooh. So he'd have to cut 30
he could
pounds?
20
pounds?
No. Stipe ain't coming down.
Yeah.
John's
coming
coming
up. Okay, I got you.
And I mean, and it's a fight for John Jones because let's face it, who is John Jones? Who else is John Jones going to fight? There's nobody there. I'll just go ahead and tell you. I'll save you the Google search. There's nobody there. He has dispatched of that. That's why John Jones can talk so much shit on social media, because he knows who's going to jump up and fight me. Nobody.
Yep.
That's the super fight. That's the next super fight. How do we find a way to get John Jones in the cage with Stipe Miocic? And trust me, he's built in a way that it could absolutely happen. And if it does, I think it would destroy pay-per-view records.
Yep. Daniel Cormier, he gave it a valiant effort. I will say that.
Well, I mean, now, and he's going to go down as one of the greats
Oh, yeah.
of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's going to slide right into a role as a broadcaster, and he's going to be just fine. Because he's really, really good at that.
Yep. There's not another fight on the horizon for him.
Oh, no,
had
he's done.
Had he won this one, maybe there would have been another fight.
I
at some
said on
point.
this show Friday he's retiring regardless of what happens.
Really?
Because why
You'd
wouldn't
have
he?
thought so.
I mean, where's he go? What's he going to do? Go fight Francis Ngannou? No, I don't think so. For Derek Lewis? I mean, he's had 3 cracks at Stipe. He won the first one, he lost the last 2.
Yep.
You're not getting another shot.
Nope.
Historically, you're not getting a 4th shot. And the way that the fight went down Saturday night, it shouldn't happen.
Does this tarnish his legacy?
No,
The way he was manhandled?
not to me.
The fact that the fight almost got called off in the second round, had it not been for the bell, when he had him up against the cage, it was
It
just
could have been called
pounding
off
him
in the
head.
first 15 seconds, and it wouldn't have hurt his legacy.
Okay.
Daniel Cormier's 41 years old. Like, I mean, this was the end. And he's not the biggest guy you've ever seen in your life. This is a guy that's been across multiple weight classes. He always was. It blew my mind that he was so good as a heavyweight, because he had to bulk up to get there. I mean, he was an Olympian, and yeah, Daniel Cormier is infallible in the history books to me. I mean, he will go down as one of the greats of all time. I kept hearing about Brock Lesnar over the weekend. Stop that shit. Brock Lesnar was, good God, he was there for 15 minutes. Stop that shit. He was fine.
Yeah.
He was fine. But let's not act like he went through some murderer's row. He beat Frank Mir.
All right. John Jones makes the most sense.
It's John Jones or Brock Lesnar. The next fight's going to be Ngannou, and then they're going to build up a super fight. It's just a question of which guy can they figure out the financials with first.
Right.
And I mean, we thought Brock was coming back for how many years? I mean, my God, he had the hype with Cormier. He's had the hype with multiple people. I think at some point, I think he's got another fight in him. But he's an older guy too. Brock's no spring chicken at this point. He's 38 or 39 years old as well. So I mean, this is Stipe's division for as long as he wants it to be.
Yep. The other 2 fights of note on the UFC 252 card, you had Rozenstruik beating Junior Dos Santos, which Jeremy called easily.
Predictable.
Yeah, it was not close. And then you had a first round TKO with, I almost called him Martin O'Malley again. No, he's not a Democrat presidential candidate.
You've done that. You do
what's
that.
his damn name?
You screw me up.
Sean
every-
O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley and Marlon Vera. I keep combining those
Chito
two.
Vera.
Yeah, Marlon Chito Vera beats O'Malley in the first round TKO after, was it a foot or a leg?
Oh yeah, it was foot. I
Yeah.
don't want to think about it anymore than I have to.
It did not go well for O'Malley, so he kind of he gets a pass for that kind of an injury during a fight.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't good.
Do you think that this takes him off of the bantamweight title trajectory?
Sean O'Malley?
Yeah.
No. There's a hiccup. I mean, you got rolled up. It wasn't pretty. We all saw it. We'll all remember it for an extended period. If you saw it, you're going to remember that for a minute because
Right.
it hurt to watch.
Yep.
But, I mean, they just keep chugging right along.
UFC 252 was fun. Now, I guess all of the sights in the UFC turn to the big fight, Nurmagomedov and Gaethje.
Yes, that one's a long time coming. And I'm really looking forward to that fight.
Saw an article over the weekend. Nurmagomedov says he wants to see, because I guess he's planning on beating Gaethje
Of course
coming
he is.
up. And he
Nobody
said-
walks into a fight and goes, I'm going to get my ass
well,
kicked."
true. But he was saying for the future, that he would be willing to face Conor McGregor once again, but first Conor McGregor has to face Dustin Poirier. Do you think that is a fight that Conor would take? And second, a fight that Conor would win at this point?
Do I think he would win it? Yes. Do I think he would take it? It's all about the money. At this point, it's all about the money. And I'm telling you, Conor can hold out and wait for the winner of this fight, and I'm telling you right now, he will find a way to get the winner. Because the money's too big. Mm-hmm. I mean, of the biggest drawing pay-per-views in UFC history, Conor McGregor's been like 6 of them. He knows he can sit back because the Gaethje Nurmagomedov is not going to draw like you think it's going to. People think, oh, it's going to break records. No, it'll draw nicely and it'll be good, but it's not going to be Conor good. It'll have a lot of pay-per-view buys. Will be good, but it's not a Conor fight. And then Conor can sit back and look at Dana White and go, you want to do the big number? You bring me in. You bring me in as the guy when we can finally put fans back in it. We can do it in Vegas. We'll have a whole big shit, and it'll be the UFC's coming back to normality party. Because I got news for you, the coronavirus, that second wave. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Pauly Shore, the second wave. That's not going to be anywhere near what you think it's going to be.
Right.
And I think the return to normalcy comes somewhere around the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. About the time an election happens.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're intertwined.
Very subtle, Jeremy. Very subtle. Weirdest story of the weekend. Is there any dispute about what the weirdest story of the weekend was? It involved WWE's Sonya Deville.
This was a bizarre story.
This is very, very strange. A man was arrested Sunday on a kidnapping charge at the home of Sonya Deville. Philip A. Thomas from South Carolina went to Florida to Sonya Deville's home, where the story goes that he was sneaking around the bushes of the home earlier in the evening. He cut a hole in the screen of one of the doors, or the sliding glass door or something, so he could hear what was happening and watch from the bushes what was happening inside Sonya Deville's home for 3 to 4 hours before he decided around 2:45 in the morning to enter said home. And thankfully, the alarm went off and notified Sonya Deville and whoever was staying at her house with her that there was an intruder in the home. Both of them escaped unharmed, but when police arrived in minutes, they found Mr. Philip A. Thomas, and he was in possession of zip ties and duct tape and mace and something that's described as other personal items. This guy has been stalking Sonya Deville on social media for about 4 years, they said.
If you look at his, I looked at his social media yesterday. It is just, I mean, that's all he talked about. I mean, the ways that people can go into their fandom and go and cross that line from, you know, a fan to a stalker is just mind-boggling. And the fact that nobody in this guy's life ever went, dude, let's talk about this.
Right.
I mean, this is scary stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
and
you got a dude showing up here that had horribly bad intentions. Mm-hmm. And it's really sad that this is a way that things go from time to time.
And investigators have said that he was planning this kidnapping or taking her hostage for 8 months, and nobody knew anything about it, apparently. I mean, we don't know. We're just learning more about this, and I'm sure we're going to hear more and more as the story goes on. But thankfully, no one was harmed, but he has been booked on 3 felonies in the state of Florida. And man, it's hard to wrap your head around. Look, every time something disgusting happens in the world, one of these massive, mass shootings or something like that. I mean, the thing that I always come back to is that there are evil people in the world, and there are evil people who will do evil things. And, the fact that, this guy was obviously crazy is the only thing that it's the only conclusion that you can come to. And it's sad that things like this happen, but thankfully, No one was harmed in any of this. This guy is going to face some very serious jail time, and I hope he gets the mental health help that he needs, because this is just the weirdest story, to camp out somebody's house for hours and just listen to what's going on inside. And then the evil intentions that were there, thank God nothing happened. Whew. I hope I never get that famous. Or if I do, I at least hope that I have some motion detectors outside my house to know if somebody's in. That's the thing that freaks me out about this the most.
I don't think you have to worry about somebody stalking you.
I'm a sexy bitch, and you will find out one day. Just saying. I'm going to get an OnlyFans account, and you're going to be sad.
It's just Tank eating sandwiches. It's different sandwiches that Tank likes to eat.
If I could make $100 a day, that's it. $100 a day, just sitting around eating food on my OnlyFans account,
You need one subscriber at $100, and I need to have a serious discussion with that person and their predilections.
Hey, if people are into weird stuff, if a woman can make 6 figures a month acting like she's a dog and not in any sexual ways on OnlyFans.
It's in a sexual way.
Is it?
I couldn't say that on the ESPN show.
That's what they say. They said it wasn't.
Yeah, they lied. You can't unsee what I saw.
Well, if I could make I would make my sandwich eating sexual.
I don't think.
How about that?
I don't think OnlyFans
need.
was built for people like you, Tank. I'm just, this might be one of those crazes that you just have to sit out.
Oh, I beg to differ.
I feel like I keep having to give that camera The Office look, like he's not hearing what he's saying.
All right, NBA basketball playoffs kick off today.
So excited.
My fighting Portland Trailblazers got the win over Memphis in the play-in game, so they will be playing.
But they didn't cover.
Against,
Damn it.
They didn't cover.
It was just one
That's
last game to screw me over before we started real-life basketball.
Right. Well, I mean, thankfully the bubble thing is gone, and now it all
matters.
Now it means something to everyone, and so you're no longer going to have guys just sitting out resting and all of that. Game 1 of these first round series begins today. So we got your Nuggets going up against the Sniffle Tower and the Jazz at 1:30 this afternoon. How do you think that this series is going to start?
Nuggets in 4. With no Mike Conley, I'll take the Nuggets in 4.
Has he been ruled out for the entire series?
Oh, he left the bubble.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I missed that.
He left the bubble yesterday for the birth of his kid.
Oh, I missed that.
So, I mean, if he gets tested every day outside the bubble, he's going to miss at least the first 2 games.
Yep.
And I think anything short of 3 would be almost hard to wrap my brain around. Mm-hmm. Without him, they ain't got a prayer. I mean, Denver, first of all, they were thin to begin with. Now you take him out of the equation, which means you got Emmanuel Mudiay running the point. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, my Nugs in 4. This is going to be quick.
All right. First game is, according to what I'm looking at here, Denver -4.5.
Yeah, I'll take Denver -4.5.
Okay. All right.
And that number's going to get way bigger.
As the games go on?
No, as the day goes on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, by 1:30, that's going to be Denver by 7, I would say minimum. Mm-hmm. I think when the sharp money's already moved the number, because I want to say it started at 1.5 or 2.
Okay.
And then the public money is going to come in between now and 1:30. Mm-hmm. It just feels so good to be talking about that. We're talking about actual games. Things are happening. Things are good. The NBA has done this so right, and I really hope they get rewarded with people watching.
I think they're going to struggle to get numbers on the midday games, but the evening games should do fine.
I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously a little biased because I'm a sports talk show host, but I'll be watching.
Oh, of course.
And it's my fighting 2020 NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
Well, you also have to take into account. I mean, it's 2 West Coast teams in a 1:30 in the afternoon game. They might.
That's another thing that I've heard the NBA get inundated with, the ratings are so bad. Half these games are at 2 in the afternoon, and none of them mattered. If the NBA Finals gets a 4, okay, now that's something to worry about.
The fans of these teams are going to be watching this game at 11:30 in the morning.
Yep, I'm in. It'll be 1:30 in the afternoon for me, so I'm in.
So everybody out in Colorado and Utah going to be taking an early lunch today to watch the first game of this series. 4 o'clock this afternoon. You got the Raptors and the Nets. This one's over in 4 as well.
That one would be over in 2 if Brooklyn could just stop playing.
The Nets continue to be without 7 of their players.
They have no one.
Karis LeVert.
Their team looks like what happens in 2K when you trade everybody off and you just pick up a bunch of free agents so you can have max cap space the next year.
Right.
And you've got 10 first-round picks. Mm-hmm. They don't have any of that.
No. 6:30 tonight, the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers get underway. And I'm expecting this series to be competitive. Even without Ben Simmons, I think, and it's going to depend on how Embiid's moving.
Oh, Embiid will be fine. Embiid's not going to be the problem. The problem is going to be how does this team run with Josh Richardson and Shake Milton as the instigators of the offense? Good luck with that, because one of them is going to get Marcus Smart, who's the best on-ball guard defender in the league.
Shut them down, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with not having – and I like Josh Richardson, but he's not a high-end facilitator, which a team like this needs. Because Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid are big, lumbering guys that don't get their own shot easily. So you need somebody that can initiate the offense, and I think they're going to struggle with that. I'll take Celtics in 5. I'll give Philly 1.
Give them 1.
They have too much talent, I think, to get swept.
Yeah. I would agree with
I
that.
don't think any of these first-round series are particularly all that good.
Boston is so deep that's going to be their real – that's going to be what they lean on in this series.
We're almost to my sweeping declaration of the first day of NBA playoffs.
9 o'clock tonight, the Dallas Mavericks against the Los Angeles Clippers.
The Clippers are a 6-point favorite. I'll go one step further. The Mavericks don't just cover, they win.
Really? What makes you believe that Dallas is going to win?
I don't think that I have a different belief with the Clippers than I have with the Lakers.
Okay.
I don't think the Clippers can just turn it on. And I think Luka and Kristaps are playing at a level offensively that is going to be hard for the Clippers to figure out initially. I still think the Clippers win the series. Don't get me wrong. I'll take the Mavericks tonight.
Interesting.
Nothing ever goes. It's never as chalky as you think it is. Ever. Never in the history of the sport has it been as chalky as you think it is. And I think that's the only game I look at and go, I could see it. Like, I see no way the Jazz with no Mike Conley beat Denver.
Right.
I mean, even if they do, I'm not going to overreact to it. I still think Denver's the better team. Toronto's better than Brooklyn. The Celtics are better than 76ers. I look at the Mavericks and go, but they can't win the series, I don't think.
No.
I think they can win a game. I think they can win this game.
So they take the first, and then it'll be 4 straight losses to get this over with.
No, I think that's a 6-game series. The more I've thought about it,
Okay.
when you have Luka and I don't know who's going to guard Kristaps. I mean, they call him a unicorn for a reason, and I mean the Clippers aren't particularly long. I mean, do you put Paul George on him? That's a huge height disadvantage.
I don't know. I think you'd have to. I mean, because Montrez can't run with him.
No.
So, I mean, the only thing Montrez can do is bully him when he gets inside, but
he doesn't do
Kristaps
that.
doesn't have to.
No, he doesn't do that. And I just think, here's the thing. This is what a lot of people don't. Paul George is not an elite defender. He's a good defender. But when you have 2 stars and you're constructed the way the Clippers are, all right, Kawhi's going to be on Luka. I think we universally know that.
Yes.
When you put an average to good defender on a star player, what are you risking happening every time? Foul trouble.
Oh, yeah.
I could see Kristaps getting Paul George in foul trouble. And if you don't have both of the stars, that team's in trouble. I understand they have good role players. Role players don't make the dream work in the playoffs. and Luka is better than he gets credit for. Luka's a top 8 player in the NBA right now.
Yes. I mean, damn near averages a triple-double, and he is a far cry from the last person to do that.
He's a fantastic player. I'm taking Dallas to win tonight.
Okay. All right. Dallas gets the first win of the series. So says Jeremy Green.
Hey, I'm on a hot streak in the NBA. I called Alvin Gentry's firing before
You
it
did.
had been breathed to anybody else.
You did. Alvin Gentry got fired. Was that late Friday night?
Saturday.
Saturday. It was Saturday. Yeah. He
I
said it Friday.
had a little bug put in my ear on Friday of I'm hearing things out of New Orleans. Kenny Atkinson's being weird about interviewing for other jobs. Apparently, when Chicago called, he went, "Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll catch up." and the source that I heard it from went, "There's only 2 jobs that could make him do that.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's not coming open." Oh,
Yep,
and
that's
then
the other one.
There went Alvin Gentry.
Yep. Alvin Gentry out as the New Orleans Pelicans head coach, and now we've got the Pelicans and the Bulls both looking for head coaches.
Here's
And
I have
the
another.
Bulls job you don't want. The Pelicans one, that's a good one.
Ty Lue. Just telling you,
Really?
Ty Lue.
For New Orleans? All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us here in the Sportsocracy this Monday morning. It's been a start to what's going to be an aggressive week. NBA playoffs kicking off, and we'll have more discussions, I'm sure, over the week about the scariness in college football of whether or not we are going to have a season. Just waiting for the next shoe to drop or the next big headline to come out in that regard, because you can count on the fact that there are a lot of people who disagree with that, and we're going to keep hearing them over and over and over again. We will be right here to cover it with you every weekday morning at 9 a.m. in the Sportsocracy. Like it, share it, follow it at the Sportsocracy on all the social medias. Don't forget, check out the merch store. Use the promo code NBA Bubble, 10% off your purchases today. I'm Tex Spencer. He's Jeremy Green.
Yeah.
And we'll see you tomorrow.